Welcome back. Prosperity and medical advances mean that people in the developed world are, of course, living longer than ever. A positive development, to be sure, but it's also presenting some new challenges. Demographics are changing dramatically. More and more old people are financed by an ever-shrinking number of young people. And experts estimate that in 30 years' time, Germany will have the highest average age of any country in the world. The elderly often need a great deal of help and assistance and can quickly become dependent on poorly paid care workers to look after them. Many of them are only able to do their job properly when they put in extra time for free.
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and healthcare worker Sabine Kranz lets herself into Ilse Buchholz's flat, where she's eagerly awaited. For Ilse, Sabine Kranz is nurse, confidant and Girl Friday. But although Sabine does her best, she can only do so much. Her time with each patient is strictly limited by the health insurers who pay her wages. After checking her patient's general state of health, Sabine has only 20 minutes in which to help Ilse wash, brush her hair and get dressed.
So, Frau Buchholz. Bitte sehr. Ja?
Another 10 minutes goes on making breakfast.
So, Frau Buchholz. Löffel, Messer und die Kaffeemilch. Bitte schön. Und hier sind die Tabletten für heute Morgen. Ich lege Ihnen die jetzt neben das Frühstück, ja?
Then Sabine has to leave Ilse and go to her next patient.
If we stuck by all these limitations, I wouldn't even have time for a private word with my patients, and that's very important. We're the only people many of them ever see. And when we're there for only 2 minutes, that's awful.
And there isn't much more than 2 minutes to do anything. Any little favor or friendly word means less time for the basics. But the health insurers won't pay more, so Sabine has to give up her own break to give her job a more human touch.
We have constant problems with the health insurers. We often don't get things. Or they say we have to do something and then say there's no money to pay for it.
In the end, Sabine makes a lot of visits without pay. For instance, this man is dying of cancer. But he isn't entitled to visits from a nurse. So Sabine goes to see him outside her working hours.
Sitzen Sie schön drauf? Ja? Gut. Dann mache ich mal ein neues Laken rein.
Sabine's shift is over and she parks the car back at the health office. She has just put in a 9-hour day. And at 5:30 tomorrow morning, she'll be doing it again.
It's not just Germany that's facing the problem of an aging population. Every other European Union nation, with the exception of Slovakia, is in the same boat. There are several different approaches to dealing with the problem. Northern Europeans tend to rely more on their government social security systems to take care of them than their southern counterparts, who traditionally have strong family structures. In our next report, we take a look at how 3 different countries in Europe organize their nursing care.
Scandinavian countries, such as Sweden, have traditionally had strong welfare systems. People there rely on the state when it comes to financing nursing care. One reason is that more and more women are working. They're no longer able to remain at home to care for sick and elderly family members. As a result, Sweden has introduced a compulsory nursing care tax. Towns then use the revenues to finance comprehensive outpatient care in people's homes. The situation is completely different in southern Europe. Family structures in countries like Spain are still relatively intact. Fewer women work outside the home. Many are housewives. The state relies on them to care for those who need it. There's neither a nursing care tax nor nursing care insurance. No one pays for their nursing care in advance, as they do in the north. There's no line in the government budget for funding this sort of care. And people don't make compulsory contributions. Families are still expected to take the responsibility for their own sick or elderly members. The situation in Eastern Europe, on the other hand, is completely different. Poland, for example, used to have a communist government. As a result, its welfare system is relatively advanced. It provides comprehensive care, but does not finance more expensive types of nursing. No one in Poland pays taxes or insurance premiums to fund home nursing care. Instead, the government uses money that has been paid into health or pension funds to finance the expensive state home nursing care system. Some observers say that this, combined with longer life expectancies, means the Polish system is heading for collapse.
So it is a very costly business providing quality health care for the elderly. But it's not just old people who need intensive nursing care. There are also many other people in society who do require assistance because they are chronically sick or disabled or have suffered a serious accident. Provision for their health care by the state is often minimal, which means there can be enormous pressure on spouses and other family members.
Multiple sclerosis has left Jutta Schreiber all but paralyzed. Her husband, Dieter Radetzky, has to care for her. But he also works 20 hours a week, and he can't leave his wife alone for much longer than that. But a recent healthcare reform means he could take caregiving time, 6 months unpaid leave from his job.
Caregiving time means that people who take time off work to care for their parents, for example, don't have to worry about losing their jobs.
In principle, Radetzky could take advantage of the new regulation, but he's just not interested.
There's no way that I could do it. I can't cover our fixed costs without working. I can't afford to take half a year without pay. Theoretically, it's possible, but I can't swing it financially.
If Dieter Radetzky had no income, the couple would have to rely on the home nursing care allowance alone. It's available to anyone who needs it, but the amount it pays out depends on how long the carer spends on it each day. The current allowance is €205 a month for an hour and a half, €410 a month for 3 hours, and €665 a month for more than 5 hours daily. The Schreiber-Radetskys get this allowance, but Mr. Radetzky still has to augment it by working. The couple says they hope adequate pay will be made available someday for spouses or children caring for a family member. They'd like to see something like the children's allowance, which parents get for their kids. But politicians are wary.
Paying caregiving family members would really be a quantum leap. But it must be possible to provide appropriate pay for the job they're doing.
Until that happens, there's not much else Mr. Radetzky can do, except keep on working, as both a caregiver and at his job.
Caring for the elderly. That's our in-depth report today. Thanks.
And how much time they have to give you by federal law for vacation and other issues that come up. Where does the graph look like for America?
We're way off the graph.
I mean, I think it's flat right there, right?
It's totally flat.
Zero.
Zero. There's no requirement whatsoever of any vacation days. There's no requirement whatsoever on any kind of sick days. We talk about being this family-friendly nation, but we're not giving people time to be with their family. When someone's working 2 or 3 jobs, they don't have time to be with their family. If we don't allow people vacation, they don't have time to spend with their family.
Just reading The Economist magazine, there was an article about Germany. Germany, often criticized by many economists for having this big social welfare system. Look at these crazy pensions they give people, big social safety net that's not sustainable, they're going to lose jobs. Yet, currently, the German economy is actually doing pretty darn well.
Absolutely. It's got nothing to do with competitiveness. The most competitive countries actually have a very broad social safety net. They provide health care. They provide good retirement. They provide time off and good vacation. We're the ones who haven't caught up with the realities of what Americans need to be productive and to be good family members.